Self-worth is a really simple concept. It's often confused, however, or conflated with self-esteem, but these two concepts are actually quite different. While self-esteem is more of an assessment of how you feel about yourself, self-worth is recognizing that you're worthy of love despite what you or others think about yourself, despite all of the unskillful and hurtful actions you may have committed in the past, and despite the circumstances you've faced throughout your entire life. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about how to deal with the karmic block of not realizing your inherent self-worth. Stay tuned. Hi there, I'm Lisa Engles and welcome to my channel where I help spiritual seekers just like you to harness the ancient wisdom of yoga to live an extraordinary life. So the goal of this channel is super simple, just to make it easier than ever before for anyone to find happiness and fulfillment in their everyday life by using what has already been passed down to us for millennia. One of the biggest challenges that people come to me with is that they find themselves repeating the same, lessons in life over and over again. They're frustrated, they're at a loss because most of them have already spent years and years doing the work on themselves. They've done the therapy, they've done the coaching, they've done all of the workshops, you name it, but they're still struggling with that, unhealthy relationship, or they feel like they should be further along in their career than they are, or whatever it might be. If you can relate to this, then I invite you to head over to my website, karmic-warrior.com, and grab my free report on why you keep getting handed that one lesson in life, even if you've spent years doing the work. In this free report, what I do is I reveal to you the secret about harnessing the law of karma to break free of that one lesson so that you can live a freer, fuller life right now. I put the link in the description below. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel by clicking on the little notification bell if you haven't already, because I post new videos just like this one on a regular basis. Okay, so there is zero hyperbole when I say this. If you clear this karmic block of lack of self-worth, there will be no need to go any further. You don't need to do any more work on yourself. Now, as I said before in the intro, that self-worth is a really simple concept. It often gets confused with self-esteem. Self-esteem is, an assessment of how you feel about yourself, whereas self-worth is recognizing that you are worthy and deserving despite who you think you are, who others think you are, despite and all of the good and the bad that you've done in life, despite the circumstances that you find yourself in right now. And self-worth is one of the most fundamental concepts when it comes to self-love, because if you can't truly love yourself, then you can't really love others either, right? And you can't truly love yourself until you accept that the fact that you exist, just the fact that you exist, that alone proves that you are worthy of love. And nothing else that I say, nothing else that I teach will matter much unless you realize that you are an irreducibly unique actualization of a timeless potential held in the larger pattern of reality. This is literally the first step to realizing who you really are and claiming your self-worth. So let's discuss this a little bit more about you and your self-worth. Do you know, not as an idea, not as a thought, not as a belief, but do you really know in your bones that you are good? Do you know in your bones that you deserve to be treated with love and respect? Now, if you're like most people, there's a part of you that questions your inherent value and might be questioning, I don't know, maybe not. Here's the thing. If you base your self-worth on how you compare yourself to others, if you base your self-worth on your career or society or your family's expectations of you, if you, of course, place your self-worth on how many people are following you on social media or your social media likes, or how many friends you have, or how much money that you earn, or what type of house you live in. If you place your self-worth on anything, based on anything or anyone except yourself, then this is a karmic block that you need to deal with. Now, the first conclusion that most people are going to jump to when I start talking about this is, oh my gosh, what I need to do is I need to bust all of my negative beliefs about, my self-worth, and I need to replace them. I am worthy and I am deserving. But I'm going to say something a little controversial that you don't hear a lot in this world, and this is that beliefs are really just more stories. They're just more ideas about, who you are. And yes, while having a positive, a more empowering belief is good, it is only a stepping stone to recognizing your inherent value, because recognizing your inherent value has to be a felt experience, not a concept in your head. Now, here's why. Because as I already said, beliefs, even positive ones, and positive, saying all these affirmations, they're okay, but they're still thoughts. And the problem is that I guarantee you that at some point in your life, those positive beliefs are going to be challenged by any number of situations that happen to you in your life. So what happens when, for example, okay, I believe I'm worthy of love and I'm valuable, right? But then something happens in your life to challenge that belief, and now you actually have evidence that proves you're not valuable. So beliefs aren't really strong enough to hold up to all of the challenges that you're going to face in life. To deal with any type of karmic block, and all of the types of karmic blocks that we'll be talking about in this series, you have to move beyond the mind and all of the stories, beyond your negative beliefs, but also beyond your positive beliefs. So we're not going to go into too much detail in that, but I just wanted to say that because it's so important. That in this series, I'm not going to be giving you a bunch of affirmations to say to, bust your beliefs. But here is a good place to start. In fact, it's the place that most of us need to start. And that is with two really, really important things that show up for all of us that indicate that a karmic block is at play. And that is denial and judgment. Wherever denial and judgment show up, there is a karmic block that needs healing. To heal karmic blocks, you need to ask yourself these two questions, and this is all that matters. The first question is, what am I denying about myself as it relates to my self-worth? What am I denying about myself as it relates to my self-worth? The second question you need to ask yourself is, what am I judging about myself as it relates to my self-worth? Again, what am I judging about myself as it relates to my self-worth? Now, the answers to these two questions forms the basis to healing your karmic blocks to self-love, because underlying all forms of denial and all forms of judgment are feelings and unmet needs. And this is something that Marshall Rosenberg really brought to the forefront in a very beautiful and profound way in his work through nonviolent communication. Now, when you approach this practice of inquiry that I just gave you with curiosity, and that's one thing that we need when we're doing this work of healing our karmic blocks, is to have a lot of curiosity. as opposed to judgment about what's going on. When we approach these questions with curiosity, what happens is we begin to quickly identify our feelings and our unmet needs, which will result in a deeper sense of connection with what is arising inside of us, what is alive inside of us. In other words, you will begin to connect with your true self. And that's what this path to reclaiming self-love is all about. So denial and judgment only create barriers between you and your true self. So what you want to do is begin to acknowledge your feelings, connect them to your unmet needs, and that will help to facilitate this emergence of who you really are. So healing these karmic blocks is really the crux of loving yourself. And this particular karmic block of lack of self-worth is a really, really good place to begin for so many of us. So I would love to hear your thoughts, your comments, maybe, about this particular karmic block of a lack of self-worth. How does that show up for you in your life? Leave your comments below. I'll be sure to respond to them. Thank you so much for joining. And again, remember to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell if you haven't already, so that you get the next video in this series on the karmic blocks to self-love. Until next time, take care and namaste.